Maze of Millenia releases in the TCG on January 19th, 2024, and contains both a mediocre searcher players can dump $400 on to play the lowest to the ground Tier 1 deck that we've seen since Branded Bestial, and a host of quality legacy support that people have been eagerly anticipating for years. Cards such as Colorless, the new Earthbound support, and the Junk Warrior alt art are all sick additions that are sure to make some balding 5D enjoyer's year. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what bottom-of-the-barrel, pack-filler nonsense this set contains that my boys and I can use to experiment with and cope on. And this set contains more than its fair share of that. So let's dig into the second set with the word maze in its name in recent memory, and let's get into the video. Now, I don't want to get a reputation as some kind of dinosaur stan, but I'm going to start another card review video off with some dinosaurs. Hornsaurus is a level 6 dinosaur fusion monster that I believe could find a place in a dinosaur deck that utilizes Ground Xeno and the rest of the new dinosaur support. Requiring Kito Terra, a new card that I'll be introducing here in a moment, and one other dinosaur type monster as fusion materials, this angry boy has 3 interesting effects. Firstly, the card can attack directly the turn that it's fusion summoned. Not likely to be relevant considering how easily dinosaurs can clear boards anyway, with their Mafia Dawn of an OG boss monster, but can be helpful for time shenanigans, I suppose. Secondly, the card allows you to place a field spell from your deck or graveyard face up in the field spell zone. This obviously dodges Ash Blossom in that same way that all new cards need to in order to be relevant. Allows you to recycle one of field spells or simply play Lost World from the deck. And a third effect which aligns perfectly with Lost World. You may, immediately after activating the effect, whatever that means, normal summon a dinosaur or dragon type monster. What a sick extender, allowing you to normal summon monsters like Oviraptor to pop off of normal dinosaur nonsense, or summon a tuner like Scrapraptor to go into Barone or Chenying to profit off of the banishes for UTC summon condition. It's definitely a sick card. But Faker, you complain. That card has specific fusion material. Who would want to run such a brick? Well, let's talk about it. Kito Terra is an unbelievably cool card. A level 4 wind dinosaur monster with a host of awesome effects. Its first effect prevents your opponent from attacking while they control 2 non-wind attribute monsters, kind of like a reverse solar flare dragonlock. A cool effect, no doubt, but you aren't likely to keep this guy around for long, as its second effect allows you to add polymerization from deck to hand, facilitating the summon of Hornsaurus. Its final effect allows the card, when it is banished, to special summon itself and add a polymerization from grave to hand. Absolutely ridiculous. I think that this has the chance to fit nicely with existing dinosaur decks, as the card synergizes with the things that UTC, Miscellaneousaurus, and others already do. Imagine banishing both Giant Rex and this guy for the summon of UTC, and then getting them both back and making a rank 4. I think that's pretty cool. While I can't say that these cards will have some significant meta impact, they're definitely nothing to scoff at. Leaving the Lost World behind, we'll turn our attention to something equally as unsettling, but significantly less cool. Bugs. From the Rex Raptors of the world to the Weevil Underwoods, as we look at number 1 Infection Buzz King. Somehow, I think Konami's running out of numbers, because I'm fairly certain that there's already been 6 cards that were number 1. I don't know, I never watched Zexal past the episode where the trash man threw them all down a hole. This rank 8 Dark Xyz monster requires 2 or more level 8 monsters as material. Now, if you're like me and love losing an NR showdown, the words Dark Rank 8 make your mouth water and your eyes become little spiders, and this card certainly facilitates that. Once per turn during your standby phase, this card allows you to attach a card from your opponent's grave to it as material. Neat, but not exactly impactful, and I doubt this card is going to stick around long enough for that effect to be relevant. The next effect, though, ooh boy. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can look through your opponent's extra deck and send 1 card from it to the graveyard. You guys thought that your extra deck was safe now that Cash was out of the picture? You absolute fools. Good thing you simped out for that second copy of access code. Its final effect allows you to detach a material in order to target and pop a card on your opponent's field. Then burn your opponent for damage equal to half of that monster's attack. Simple and clean. It's sick, and probably the minimum that a rank 8 needs to even sniff playability. But hey, it has it. 8-axis players rejoice. You got a new guy. The Eye of Illusion is 1/2 powerful quick play utility and 1/2 commentary on Konami's approach to introducing new types into the game. I can't remember exactly, but was Cyberse attached to an existing type when it was first introduced in the same way that Illusion and Spellcaster have been thus far? Admittedly, the line between the two types is pretty thin, and this card definitely deserves to belong to both types. Having possibly the longest time from anime appearance to TCG implementation, aside from maybe negative energy, this card demonstrates that no stone will be left unturned in the pursuit of Duel Monsters nostalgia. As a quick play spell, this Evil Eye's first effect allows you to protect your illusion and spellcaster type monsters from being destroyed by battle for the rest of the turn, and serving as protection from the most obvious forms of removal, forcing your opponent to resort to effect-based removal in order to clear your board. This card's second effect is a change of heart on your opponent's turn, allowing you to interrupt at key moments in your opponent's combo, potentially ending their entire turn on the spot. They get the monster back at the end of the turn, but hopefully your crafty interruption has hampered their play enough that by that point, it won't matter. Lastly, this card allows you to redirect an opponent's monster's attack to another monster they control, and skips directly to damage calculation, denying the opponent to respond with some form of removal. Obviously, this effect isn't about to challenge Thrust for the spot of most overpowered and centralizing spell card with 3 effects. But I think its defensive utility and option to select from a host of interesting effects makes it something worth keeping an eye on and experimenting with. The ability to dodge back row removal with a full turn battle protection effect is also pretty cool, meaning that even if they sniff out and hunt the spell, you can still get some powerful defensive protection from it. Awesome that we finally get to see such an iconic image turned into a spell as cool as this one. Allow me to collect your numbers along with your soul as Photon Delta Wing takes the stage. This level 4 light machine special summons an additional copy of itself from hand or deck on normal summon, enabling Photons the easiest access to Starliege Lord Galaxian, Starliege Paladinamo, Photon Blast Dragon, Galaxy Photon Dragon, Photon Paleoperative, and any other combinations of Photon or Galaxy that you can possibly imagine. Also, you can summon Utopia, which is pretty cool for rank up nonsense. This is basically a tour guide for level 4 lights, which opens up a surprising number of targets, including Teller Knights and Bujins. The ability to get 2 bodies on field off a normal summon is nothing exactly new, but I don't think that summoning a 4 from deck has come so easy in a long time, which makes the light lock incredibly understandable and fair, especially considering its intended purpose in Galaxy Eyes and Photons specifically. I think that this card could see some use with Sakitama and that Spirit Engine that came out in Cyberstorm Access too. Level 4 light normal summon enablers in a deck that just needs to get 2 bodies on board, there's some potential. Additionally, this card enables a battle lock with nothing but itself on field, which will probably ruin Mesa Millenia sealed format, and while I don't really see it coming up otherwise, it's pretty cool. The only harsh criticism I have to levy at the card is that it doesn't have 2000 attack. I mean, come on, you were so close to having the ideal Galaxy Eye support card, and you just missed it by a little bit. Either way, I think that this card enables some powerful plays that our good friend Kite would approve of, and I'm excited to give it a try. To that one guy at my locals who showed up with Galaxy Eyes, went X3, and never showed up again, this one's for you. You might not have gotten our numbers, but you got some cool support. Alright, well, if you paid attention to my ban list reaction video, you may have gotten a hint at what I'm about to introduce next. The reason Isolde finally fell on the most recent ban list: Phoenix Gearblade. What an absolute doozy of a card. If I call it Elma at home, does that register as a compliment? This card, when equipped to a fire or warrior monster, gives that monster 300 attack. Wow, absolutely wild. But I continue lest we sit and gawk at the mighty 300 for too long. If the equipped monster attacks, you can send this card to the graveyard in order to give every fire or warrior monster you control a second attack this battle phase. This enables boards that miss out on lethal to hit it very easily, effortlessly delivering the final strike to an opponent. Finally, and most importantly, if this card is sent to the grave or banished to activate a monster effect, you can add this card to your hand. What the Emperor Charles the Great were they thinking? We've had cards that add themselves back from grave to hand before, but nothing approaching this level of synergy with what an entire archetype wants to do. This card's potential has fallen off a fair amount now that Isolde is banned. Sending this card to grave in order to special summon a level 1 like Astolfo, only to add the card back to hand, is a super cool interaction that I'm disappointed is no longer in game. Although I definitely understand why Isolde is gone. As it stands, I'm not nearly smart enough to concoct a deck that can really make the most use of this card, but it's something that gimmick deck enjoyers are going to be all over. Searchable, recursive discard fodder, what can go wrong? What other low-power, interesting cards from this set did I miss? My friends and I love digging through bulk and finding cards that might not function in a traditional competitive environment, but make for some interesting and hilarious low-power duels. If you guys have any interesting ideas for cards you want me to highlight for future videos, or suggestions for future videos in general, please leave them in the comments. I'm pretty active in responding to my comment section. Keep an eye out and subscribe for future videos. I hope that your week goes well. Don't buy Bonfire, it's not worth it. Remember to laugh any and all sinful spoils players out of your locals, and remember to wash behind your ears.